to see it. I don't want to be a part of this. That's the reason why I didn't participate this year in the presidential election, because I knew either or. It was either going to be too liberal or too conservative. And whenever they bring up that cliche, I'm going to use the word cliche. Oh, we know both of them are bad, but we got to pick between the lesser of the two evils. The hell you do. You don't have to pick between the lesser of the two evils. Just don't pick. Don't pick. Don't participate in it.
It's bad.
It is.
Everything.
It's a mockery. It's a mockery to our Constitution. It's a mockery.
Yeah, it's bad. Everything's bad. And like I said, this world is changing daily now. It used to do it by year. Now it's doing every day. It's a change.
Uncle Bill, somebody asked me a question on the way up here, because I was talking to a friend of mine that's an investigator. He's bonded in about 15 different states, goes around investigating. He kind of like, I kind of picture him as an ambulance chaser, because he basically works for like workman's comp cases, and he'll catch people doing stuff that they ain't supposed to be doing, and then they'll present the evidence and try to beat them on the case, or somebody may be trying to sue somebody, and they call him up, and he goes and investigates them, right? He asked me a while ago, he said, your uncle's how old? I said, I think he's 93. He goes, why in the world is he still living?
Well,
I said, I don't know. He goes, well, he must have a purpose because he's still living. What's his purpose? I said, I think it's to open his eyes to realize that his nephew wasn't crazy all them years that everybody was accusing him crazy, and now look at where society has become, because they didn't believe me, because they didn't support me, because they didn't get in behind me, Uncle Bill. And the whole time my message has been the same message that you believe in, as far as Jesus Christ, love, grace, mercy, peace, utopia. I mean, my message was the same message as your message. It wasn't like I was trying to put myself out there like I was some sort of a Jesus Christ superstar or something.
mm,
But they all rejected me, didn't they?
well,
They rejected me.
it's
I'm an outcast. I'm an outcast with the Baptist. I'm an outcast with the Southern Baptist. I'm an outcast with the Independent Baptist. I'm an outcast with the Church of Christ. I'm an outcast with the Methodist. I'm an outcast.
I got no time for the Southern Baptist people. That Southern Baptist, they screwed up. They're bad shape.
Something messed up with them, ain't it?
Yeah,
But you know, the Methodist now is allowing for gays and lesbians to get in behind the pulpit. And I don't
years
go along
ago,
with that.
Southern Baptists wanted us to apologize to the black people for the way they got done. Well, we had nothing to do with the black people, what they got done with them. Me and you had nothing to do with them.
Well, our ancestors did.
Well, they said we had them slavery and everything.
Our ancestors did.
Huh?
Our ancestors did.
Yeah, but we had nothing to do with that. No control over it.
Well, that's right too. But at the same time, you got to have empathy. You got to have empathy toward what they went through. But then again, they don't really talk much about the red man, because it was the white man that come over here and took it from the red man. And I bet you, before it's all said and done with, if I'm not
Going to shoot somebody.
hadn't I heard this from you? Hadn't I heard this from you? That the white man took it from the red man, and it's just a matter of time before the black man takes it from the white man?
Yeah, I guess.
Huh?
I guess.
We started out with hand signals, smoke signals, and you said TV and computers are going to end it up.
Yeah.
They're going to wind it up.
Yeah, TV started out ruining the world, and computers are going to wind it up.
I'd go along with that. If he can make a shot like that, he's good. That's a 1,000-yard shot. He knocked him out, didn't he?
Yeah. That's old Burt Lancaster.
Boy, that is a old movie there, ain't it?
Yeah. They're tricking them off, ain't
Yep. That's a heck of a shot right there. Eh? You're looking at a football field or more right there.
they? Yeah.
That's every bit of a football field, ain't it?
Well,
But anyways, people's done become rootless, man. And don't get me wrong. I tried to protest, Uncle Bill, what went on in my life in 1989 whenever me and my son, we went up to New York, we went to Washington, D.C., we went to all the 5 boroughs. We passed out thousands of dollars worth of material. I had the horses in back of my truck. And whenever I come back home, I didn't know that they had put a tail on me.
There's what?
They put a tail on me.
A tail on you?
They put a tail on me.
They're tailing you?
They put a tail on me coming out of Washington, D.C. Homeland Security did. And this guy was following me. Every time I'd go into a town or area, he'd be right there. Well, whenever I got back to Tennessee, man, I sure enough become the flim flam man toward passing out a lot of material. I put stuff underneath people's windshield wipers. Went to their businesses. I was working. I was putting out my message, right?
Yeah.
And I probably done that in about maybe 5 or 6 different counties. Well, that went on, I guess, for about a month. And the guy that was assigned knocked on your mother's door. Mama was in there. David was in there. Here he is, a man dressed in black from Washington, D.C., Homeland Security, asking Mama Lucy and Betty, my mama, what the hell's this guy doing? What's all this about? How come he's doing this? How come he's got this horses in the back end of his truck? And they said, we don't know. It's just something he's doing. Something he believes in.
No.
Did you know that Secret Service confronted your mother?
I didn't know it.
Yeah. Right over in a little shotgun shanty house that she lived in for probably, 30 years? Right there below Aunt Lily?
Yeah.
How long she lived there?
I have no idea. A long time.
She lived there at least 30 years, didn't she?
Lived there a long, long time. She lived there 25, 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah, they knocked on their door and they welcomed him in and sat down at the table. What is all this about? What's going on here? And Mama said, well, we don't know what he's doing. He's doing something what he wants to do. What is he breaking the law? Well, no, he ain't breaking the law, but he sure is getting the people stirred up. And it was getting the people stirred up. It got them stirred up enough that whenever I was down there in Jackson, I'd hooked up a PA on my little red truck with all them horses in it, them wooden horses. And I'd drive around and I'd tell people about those horses. And I'd tell people about the Lord. And it was my way of sharing the gospel with them. That way I wouldn't have to make one-on-one contact, because sometimes if you make one-on-one contact, you can offend somebody by saying the wrong thing. So I just thought that I'd go around with my little PA. Well, that worked for about half a day until they wound up raiding me. They raided me. You remember years and years ago, they used to have a nightclub there called, I think it was called Trimmers.
I don't remember that.
He was there in Jackson.
I don't remember.
There's a restaurant, a real fancy restaurant on the end of it. It's right there in front of Casey Jones Hotel.
Yeah, I know where the place is, but I don't remember.
It's right across the road, right over there.
I don't remember nothing down there. But
Okay. Well, anyways, I was driving around, and all of a sudden, here come the freaking PD, and they arrested me, charged me for a deadly weapon. Said, what am I being arrested for? You're being charged for a deadly weapon. Get it back in the car. Well, in the meantime, the weapon that they was calling a weapon was a teaching aid.
A what?
A teaching aid.
What's that?
A teaching aid? A teaching aid could be anything. Just so happens I was using a sword that you could tangibly see, but you couldn't touch inside this case. And I had it locked up, bolted up, where nobody could get to it. You could see it, but you couldn't touch it. That was my teaching aid. It was a way to me explaining what I was doing. Like the horses that I had in the back of the truck, it was my way of saying, okay, this horse here represents this horse represents this horse represents that. It took those police officers probably about 30 minutes with pry bars and screwdrivers, and they finally got the case open, dragged the sword out, throwed it in the back end of the trunk, and took off to the precinct while I'm being charged with a deadly weapon. Well, it hurt my feelings because whenever I went to court, they wasn't going to give me back my weapon. And I had it locked up in that sword box. And it wouldn't have mattered, Uncle Bill, if it would have been a sword. It wouldn't have mattered if it had been a cross. It wouldn't have mattered if it had been a purple piece of cloth. It wouldn't have mattered if it would have been a dove. It wouldn't have mattered what it would have been. You know why it wouldn't have mattered? Because separation between church and state. The government is not supposed to interfere with your belief. Do you go along with that?
Mm-hmm.
You agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it don't matter if I'm a Jehovah's Witness, or if I'm Buddhist, or if I'm pagan, or if I'm Baptist. They're supposed to leave you alone, right?
I guess, yeah.
They didn't leave me alone, Uncle Bill. They intervened. I wound up at the White House lawn with that truck with those horses in the back end of it.
Well, what are you doing with horses anyhow?
That was a teaching aid.
Okay.
Did you ever see the horses?
No, I didn't see the horses.
You never seen them? It wooden display. It was made right there in Mount P. A guy made them. Each horse was probably about 18 to 20 inches in length from the nose to the tail. They were made out of wood. They probably stood up about another 18 inches. And we built a frame around each one of them, all four horses. Yeah. And I put two poles and I stuck it up and I welded it on the bed of the truck. And then I took some springs and I tied it off where you could see me going down the road with those horses.
I never see them.
Well, you know, a lot of those churches didn't like my message. They didn't want my message. I got kicked out of a lot of churches back then.
Mm-hmm.
So it did. Basically, the bottom line was this. Mr. Jackson, you're welcome. You're welcome to come here anytime you want, as long as you come in here and you sit down and you put in a plate. But your ideology ain't welcome here. You get those horses out of your truck or you don't come back here. Because if you do, they're going to think that we're part of this. I had church members tell me that.
Well,
I had deacon members take me back to the back and sit down and talk to me like I was a red-headed stepchild.
well.
Yeah. I got kicked off the radio station whenever I first started this in 1989. I had a radio station up there in WNK in Union City.
Yeah.
I was speaking on Sunday morning.
Yeah.
I had a 30-minute slot. I done already spoke probably a month, probably four sessions. And I went to work one Monday up there at old man Wooten, you know, remember you Wooten Chevrolet garage there in Dresden? The dealership?
I'm in Chevrolet garage, but I don't know who I am.
Well, it was Wooten. Anyways, he had a nephew by the name of Jimmy Atkins that opened up the body shop. That, if I'm not mistaken, Dad worked in that shop one time because.
Well, what happened to Parkview Motor Company up there?
They went under. They left, and I guess they just. I mean, a lot of these smaller dealerships just dried up. I'm really surprised I'm really surprised Tillman's is still open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm really surprised Tillman's is still there, because most of them are dried up, gone.
Yeah.
You know, they had a big dealership there in Hornbeak at one time.
Oh, yeah.
It's gone in Hornbeak. But anyways, I'm driving around with these horses, and for them to intervene the way that they did, that was wrong. That was dead wrong. But what I was going to tell you, you remember whenever Reagan got shot at by Hinckley?
Mm-hmm. I remember when he got shot, yeah.
I think that was in 1983, 82, something like that.
Somewhere around
Because
there.
he had 2 terms.
Yeah.
They sent the guy that shot him in the D.C. mental institution. Whenever I pulled up at the White House lawn, this was my second trip up there, or maybe my third. They didn't arrest me, they apprehended me. There's a difference in being arrested and apprehended. So they apprehended me, put me in the back in one of their little unmarked cars, and they took me to the D.C. mental institution. And they took my truck. Another federal officer, drove my truck and they parked it in the parking lot. They admitted me in the hospital. They said, this guy, y'all need to check him out. See if he got both the doors in the water. Okay. So I'm in there probably for the first 3 or 4 hours. You sit inside this room. It's called a TB room. Probably got 15 or 20 people in there. And it wasn't long till my name come up and I had to go back to back. I go all the way back to back, and it was kind of an unusual setting because there wasn't no lights, and it was almost like going into like a eye exam room. You know how dark an eye exam room is? It was almost like that. Well, they turned on the lights. Nurse had a white coat on. Doctor had a white coat on. Probably 20 minutes, they told me to sit down on the girding there. Sit there. They was going to give me a shot. They gave me a shot. It knocked me out. I don't know if I was out for 2 minutes or 20 minutes. I don't know. Because I went out. I just know this. Whenever I woke up and I sat up real quick, like something had startled me, the nurse that was standing beside the doctor fainted. Hit the ground. Bam! Just like that. The doctor didn't know what was going on at first. He looked around thinking, well, what did I do? I didn't do nothing. I'm still sitting there. All I done was sit up and look. I'm just looking at the guy, looking at the situation. All of a sudden, the next thing you know, they get me out of that room and they bring in some more people to get that nurse up out of that room. They put me in the TB room, and that's where I stayed for 3 days. And after 72 hours, they got to let you go.
Well,
They can only hold you for 72 hours. I don't care if it's the feds. I don't care if it's the state. Now, they can order for an evaluation to be done through a judge. They can do that, but you got to go through the system in order to do that. Well, if they just nab you up on the street, I don't care if it's a deputy. I don't care if it's a local guy. I don't care if it's a federal guy. And they say, well, we think this guy needs to be checked out. They can take you to a psychiatric ward and drop you off, and they can hold you for 72 hours against your will. Mm-hmm. And after 72 hours, if they feel like that you're not deemed as being a threat to yourself or a threat to society, they have to let you go. Mm-hmm. You know how many times that I've been apprehended that way, Uncle Bill?
How many?
Over a dozen.
Well.
Over a dozen.
Well.
I've had 3 federal studies done that 2 of them took 6 months out of my life, and the last one took almost a year out of my life.
Well.
So what are they trying to do to me? You have to ask the question. You got to be realistic about this, Uncle Bill. What was they trying to do to my nephew? I'm going to tell you what they were trying to do. They were trying to shut me up. They were trying to get me out of society. That way, they'd no longer have to deal with me.
Mm-hmm. Well.
They wanted to silence me.
Well, you're still around, ain't you?
I'm still around. I'm still kicking, baby.
Well, they ain't bothering you no more, are they?
I'm pretty sure they're still monitoring me. They're still surveillancing me, especially as much material that I put out there on social media. Somebody's looking at my stuff. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I guarantee you. But you know what? I warned them. I told them ahead of time. In 2005, when my wife walked out of my life, I had to go to Davidson County because the heat was on me down there in Weakley County. For no reason, for me passing out Bible literature. So I go to Davidson County. The Lord moved up in my heart. I got my little speaker thing out, and I made me probably about 75 to 100 cassette tapes. And I passed them out in all the church, not all of them. You can't pass them out, all of them in Davidson County. Davidson County got a lot of churches. Anyways, I passed out all them tapes. And this was just about the time, it was right before Katrina hit, 2005. I was working for Price's Collision right there in Nashville, to where you could open up the bay door and look and see the Capitol building. Less than a half a mile from where I was working at. Well, I decided to send the president a T-shirt. This was the 43rd president, Bush. This was before Obama ever become president. Sent him a T-shirt with the four horsemen's apocalypse on one side, and I flipped it around, and on the other side, I had a airbrush, a professional airbrush guy do this, and it looked good. It really did. It looked good. He painted in there a bloody road ahead, the Juby Jackson story, one drop of blood of Jesus' blood washed away all our sins. And I packaged it up, went to the post office, and I mailed it to the White House, Pennsylvania Avenue, right? Well, I didn't know this. Since 9/11, a package like that no longer goes directly to the White House. A letter still does. A letter does,
Yeah.
but it goes to a certain spot that they examine that letter because it may have anthrax on it, may have poison on it.
Yeah.
Since 9/11, everything changed. So I've sent this package, and all of a sudden, I got two guys in the black and white Secret Service, Homeland Security, come to my job.
Yeah, you told me about that.
They come to my job, and they got to question me about all this stuff. And I said, well, I said, it's about the Bible. And then one guy said, well, we believe in Christ. I said, well, that's what it's about. It's about Jesus Christ, and it's about prophecy. They said, well, you ain't got no intention or want to harm the president. I said, no, I ain't harming nobody. Okay, have a good day. So I left Price's about 2 weeks after that, and I wound up going down to Bill Hurd Chevrolet Garage, which is south of Jackson, going towards Antioch, like going towards...
What's the name of the place?
It was Bill Hurd, is who it was. He had like 18 freaking dealerships in the South. Whenever he declared bankruptcy, General Motors lost $3 billion. $3 billion with a B.
Wow.
Yeah. Had one in Memphis, had one in Nashville. Basically, there was predominantly Southern dealerships. Anyways, I went down there working, and whenever I was down there working, that's whenever Katrina hit. Well, now, I've got 3 cars in one of my bay. Usually, if you're a good technician, they'll give you a tear down bay, they'll give you a put together bay, and they'll give you initial work bay. You got to have a work bay, you got to have tear down bay, you got to have a put together bay. So you got, at any given time, 3 automobiles that you're working on. Well, I had 3 automobiles. 2 of them had tore all to pieces. I mean, big jobs. Seats torn out, doors off, putting in frame rails, whole 9 yards. Another one wasn't nothing. But I get a telephone call from Homeland Security out of Nashville. Dennis, what are you doing? I said, I ain't doing nothing. Well, we got an emergency here. We need to talk to you again. You know where our office is, don't you? I go, yeah, I know where your office is. Well, do you mind coming up here and talking to us? Uncle Bill, I got this bad feeling in my stomach, but I overrid it, and I didn't listen to the bad feeling. It was a setup job. So I get my car at dinner time, thinking I can drive up there, basically spend 15 or 20 minutes with them, whatever that they was going to ask me, and then have time to get back to work on time. I go up there, and as soon as I sat down, they bring in this female that worked for the crisis center in Nashville. That basically, they're Metro now. Nashville's Metro, like most of them are. They go out to all the little communities, and that's called Nashville. And she asked me about 3 questions, and beyond that, she said, yep, I think there's something wrong with him. He needs to be examined. You know what they done? Put handcuffs on me. I put me in the back end of one of their squad cars, one of their unmarked cars, while another officer drove my truck, which at the time was that Silverado that I got now, pewter colored Silverado, and took me to the mental institution there in Nashville, going outside of Nashville, east of Nashville, to be checked out. Once more, they can only hold you for 72 hours, 3 days. But you know how embarrassing that was whenever I had to come back to work on a Tuesday and me have to explain to them? Well, Secret Service nabbed me up, and I just got through coming from the mental institution down here in Nashville for 72 hours. You realize how embarrassing that was?
Yeah.
I've been dehumidified. I've been demonized and dehumanized again and again and again. And you know where it started? It started with Damian Cross.
Who?
Damian Cross.
David Cross.
Damian Cross in Kenton, Tennessee in 1983.
Gosh, that's a long time.
Whenever I went to the city hall after my dad almost killed me because I almost died a month before that. I lost all my blood. I had to have my spleen removed, and I had 64 big square staples on my belly connecting both pieces of skin together. That way they'd grow back together again. Kind of the same way that they do.
What was Damon Cross? Was he a mayor of the town?
He was the mayor.
Okay.
All right. It was.
We used to live close to him back when I was a kid.
Well, how was he back then?
Huh?
How was he back then?
How old I was?
No, how was he?
I don't know.
You don't know if he was a kind, if he's a good guy, if he's always in trouble. Did he drink? Did he fight? What was he?
Listen to me. I was just a kid. I wasn't about 7, 8, 9 years old.
And how old was he?
I have no idea.
Probably 15, 20?
Probably. But we lived with 2, 3 miles of him.
Well, Don Curry was the deputy.
I know Don Curry.
You know Don?
Yeah.
Okay. Don Curry was the deputy, and Don Curry used to live down there in Cydonia because Don Curry wound up marrying one of Enloe Robertson's daughters.
Who?
Enloe Robertson. Enloe Robertson there in Cydonia used to do a lot of roofing and stuff. He had a son by the name of Harold Roberts, but they also had 2 daughters. Well,
What was that last name?
Robinson.
Oh,
Anyways, he wound up marrying one of them girls, and he got to know us. We got to know him. He moved out of St. Louis down that way, and he wasn't originally from that area. But anyways, he was a cop. Don Curry was a cop. I go down there. I explained my story to him, that I felt like that my life was in danger, and that I'd made a telephone call to the White House about the Antichrist. And when it was all said and done with, he said, "Dennis, have you been drinking?" I go, "No, I ain't been drinking. I ain't drunk a drop. Are you on drugs?" I said, "No." He goes, "Do you mind blowing into this breathalyzer?" I go, "I don't mind blowing into it." I blowed into it, it never moved a dot. He said, "Well, you ain't been drinking." He goes, "I'm going to temporarily hold you. Once more, there's a difference in being arrested and being confined." He goes,
he was on county?
No, he was with the city. He was with Kenton.
Okay.
He locked me back there in the city hall. They got a little cage back there where they can put people back there in. He locked me up, locked the door. He said, "I'll be back in a few minutes." He said, "You sit right here." Well, at that point in time, I really didn't have a choice. About 7 o'clock, here comes Mom and Dad. Here comes Damian Cross. Here comes 4 or 5 other people. Next thing you know, we're having us a little powwow. They got a table in the city hall, which I'm pretty sure they probably got. This is probably standard in most city halls. They got a table in city hall, I promise you. It's almost as long as this living room is, where you could probably seat every bit of 15 people. 15 people, that's a big table.
Yeah.
That's a big table.
Yeah.
So now they're talking about me, and they're talking about what went on. And I'm explaining to them that my story about the 2 hands that come out of nowhere that saved my life, that the car should have cut me in half. I explained to them about losing the 9 units of blood. I explained to them that my doctor committed suicide about 2 weeks after I got out of the hospital. And then about 2 weeks after that, my dad tried to kill me. I said, all I'm wanting is just some help. I said, I'm crying out SOS here. I said, you don't attack people the way that Bobby did. I said it'd been different if I had a knife, or if I was, if his life was in imminent danger, it'd have been different. I said he just swelled up because I made a telephone call to a place out west somewhere that was similar to Ripley's, believe it or not, because he was going to pay for my story. Well, he didn't want my story told. And he jumped all over me. And if it wasn't for J.W., his brother, you remember Jay?
J.W. who?
J.W. Jackson.
Yeah.
The one that drank all the time?
Yeah, I remember him.
He was in the living room, and if it wasn't for him that drug him off of me, I don't know for sure what would have happened that night. But he was on top of my back, beating the heck out of the back of my head, beating the heck out of my back and my neck, because I'd done already hit the ground.
Who was doing that?
Bobby.
Oh, okay.
My dad was doing that.
Okay.
And I still had 64 staples up and down my belly. I just got to having a major blood transfusion of losing 9 units of blood, and they removed my spleen.
Yeah.
You don't do a patient that way.
Yeah, no.
Do you do a patient that way?
Is that the only brother he had, J.W.?
No, he had one more younger brother,
What was his name?
Ronnie.
Yeah,
He was
I
a
remember-
preacher.
I remember that, yeah.
He was a preacher.
Yeah, I remember that.
And then he had a sister, Ruthie.
Yeah, I remember Rose.
She played up in Chicago at the Martini place, the big grand piano, and made her living up there entertaining people.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
She lived out in Oak Park somehow.
she was meaner than a skunk.
Yeah,
You get a few drinks in her, and she'd claw your freaking eyeballs out.
yeah, I remember her. Yeah.
There was something wrong with all of them. There was something wrong with J.W. He abused his family. He beat the heck out of Polly.
Was he married?
Who?
J.W. ever married?
The first wife, they said that he was only living with her, but he claims that he married her. But he beat his second wife all to pieces. But he had a boy by the first wife by the name of Marty that's a little bit older than Jim Boy.
What did he do for a living, J.W.?
He drove a bob truck up there in Chicago, making deliveries in them alleyways all the time.
Okay.
Worked up there for about 30 years doing that.
Okay.
But there was something wrong with all of them because J.W. had a bad drinking problem. Plus, he was mean to he abused his family. Look what Dad done. He abused his family, abused his wife, pertaining to my mother, your sister. And Ronnie, come to find out, Ronnie had mysterious hidden demons too. And he was supposed to have been a minister. And there towards the last, reason why Ruthie divorced him, his wife.
Are they all dead?
No, yeah, they're all dead. The reason why Ruthie divorced him was because she caught him with a man. He done already turned gay. And he was standing in behind the pulpit, preaching. She immediately requested for a divorce. She wasn't going to have that. It was a mockery. Well, whenever that happened, he lost his job.
Yeah. Well.
He got dethroned. Well, beyond that, Ronnie wound up finishing out his life down there in Florida, working as a cook down there.
He's dead now?
Yeah, he did. They found him with a pan of cocaine.
Did he have children?
He had 2 adopted children,
Okay.
Gary and Jeff. They're back up in Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Because Ruthie's still living. I still talk to Ruthie occasionally from
Who?
time to time. Ruth, the one that married Ronnie. I still talk to her occasionally.
Well,
She was the
Where's she
nurse.
live? Where's
She
she
was
live?
the registered nurse. She lives in Michigan.
she lives in Michigan now.
She lives South Michigan, right there, pretty close, probably within 10 miles.
Bobby's sister, did she have kids?
Yes, she did. She had Donald, and there was a twin that got killed. I think it was somewhere around 73, 74 in a bad accident because he was in the Vietnam War. He got killed and they had to go up there and bury him. But they also had, Ruthie had twins, a boy and a girl, and the girl still lived, Donna Dale. Now Donna Dale went out west and made it big out there. I'm talking about big.
Yeah. She still living?
She's still living.
How old is she now?
Probably about
60?
72.
Oh, is that old? Yeah. Well,
And Jerry, he's probably about 80. Jerry's about 80.
he's still living.
He's still living. He's the guy. He's the guy that lived in Plano that had the big real estate office up there.
Where's he live at now?
Plano.
Where?
Plano.
Plano.
Plano, Texas. That's the name of it, Plano.
Okay.
And the reason why I know that Jerry's the same age as Maxie is because Maxie's still living. Did you ever know Maxie Jackson?
No, didn't know her.
Know him.
Oh.
That would be Leon Jackson's son. Now, Leon Jackson was Kelmer Jackson's brother. Kelmer Jackson was my dad's dad.
Was the daddy of Bobby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 But to be hassled and marked the way that they did, because I went in there for help, and you know what they told me? Damien Cross, he said, Dennis, we think there's something wrong with you. I go, what do you think there's something wrong with me for? I'm just telling you my testimony pertaining to what happened. I said, it ain't like it. I'm hearing voices. It ain't like it. I'm seeing things. It ain't like that. I'm hallucinating. I said, my life almost got taken. He said, I understand that. He said, but you need to get away from him. And the only way that we know for you to get away from him, because you ain't got nowhere to go right now, he said, we're going to have you admitted. He said, we'd rather you admit yourself. He said, but if you don't admit yourself, we're going to have you admitted.
Admitted to what?
Admitted to a psychiatric ward. And you know who needed to be admitted? James Robert Jackson, because he was the one that was freaking meaner than hell, that beat the hell out of his wife and beat the hell out of all of us. He abused us. He had a problem. He had a deep problem. But all of them, all three brothers and the daughter, all of them that come from Kelmer and Miss Aldell Jackson, Vera Aldell Jackson, had a problem. They had a bad problem. I don't know if it was the way that their parents was raised. I don't know if it was maybe the DNA didn't match, because Miss Aldell originally was a Davis.
Well, J.W., was he there when...
He was in the living room whenever Dad attacked me, and he drug him off of me.
No, I mean...
He wasn't in the meeting. No, he was not in the meeting.
Okay.
No, he wasn't in the meeting.
Okay.
And it was Don Curry that went down to Sidonia and got Dad. He took it upon to himself to drive all the way down there to Sidonia and tell Bobby about that. And Dad said, well, we'll be on up there shortly. Just go on back and we'll be up there shortly. He was doing like detective work, like undetected police work, and he ain't authorized to do nothing like that toward driving out of the city limits and doing stuff like that. He goes, well, I got your son up here locked up. You need to come down here and talk to him. Well, in the meantime, they're plotting in Kenton, having a town hall meeting.
Oh, Don Curry, is he still living?
I think he is.
Is he still in law business or what?
No, he ain't in law business. He's out of that.
He went to county, I think, at one time.
Well, he almost went to jail for killing that guy. I think his second wife that he was married to, he wound up calling that guy up. He know that his wife had a relationship and got him to come to the house somehow or another. And once he got him to the house, he was in his territory and wound up killing that guy. And he almost went to jail for that, for premeditated murder.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
the last time that I heard that he was working for the law, he was working for Trimble over there, being the sheriff of Trimble, and two guys got in a fight, and he sat right there and he watched them beat one another's brains out until the point that they had to call the ambulance. And when it was all said and done with, they fired him for dereliction of duty, because he should have broke it up.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be a peace officer, and whenever you see something like that going on, you're supposed to break it up.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't break it up, so they basically nailed him for dereliction of duty, and that cost him his job.
How did he get jobs back on the county then?
He didn't. I don't think he never did again. I don't think. I may be wrong about that now. He may have went back, because apparently, how did you know him? Did he come down there with some warrants or something, with knowing you, and come down there with your business?
No, I just know him.
Did you work on some cars for him or something? How did you know him? How do you get about dealing with him?
I fixed his girlfriend's car one time for him.
Okay. And you knew he was a cop then, right?
Yeah, he was a Gibson County, Gibson County officer.
He may have been. See, whenever he was working for Kenton, He hadn't been working for a cop for
Well,
probably maybe 6 months or a year.
I figured him out. He was pretty sorry.
Uh-huh. He's a rascal, that's for sure. Anybody gonna drive? And I tell you what else he done, Don Curry. Whenever I was at the wrong place at the wrong time, and they put a bomb in the back of my truck, and they blowed my truck up in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in 2009.
Yeah.
That went over the wire, and he identified the name, Dennis Jackson. You know what he done?
What did he do?
Drove back down there at Bobby's, asking Bobby down there, does Dennis know anything about making bombs? Do you know anything about him? About him putting a bomb in the back of the truck, blowing the back of the truck up, Bob? Yeah, it's like he was gunning for me. He was one of the main devils that come at me that basically marked me, Uncle Bill. And from then on, once you've ever been associated with the psychiatric ward, it brands you. It'll brand you. And that's what Bobby done to me. He branded me. But it began in your little hometown called Kenton, Tennessee, after they had a town hall meeting. And from then on, that was in 1983. That's over 42 years ago, 43 years ago. And ever since then, my life has been miserable. My life has been hell on account of it. And the only thing I wanted to do was tell people about the love of Jesus, tell people about the end time, tell people, give them warnings and advisories toward trying to help them. I ain't been wanting to hurt people. Even my son admitted that before he took his last rendezvous out to Phoenix to go get that truck. He said, Dad, I know you don't want to hurt nobody. I ain't never wanted to hurt nobody.
How many kids has your son got now?
He got that one biological daughter, 2.5 years old, soon to be 3, but he's got 3 stepchildren.
Where's she living at now?
Alabama. Huntsville, Alabama.
Well,
Huntsville, Alabama's kicking it.
do you ever talk to her?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I just got to send in a package to my granddaughter for Valentine's Day. Cost me $24 for a box to mail off 2.5 pounds. 2 little dolls and some clothes and took a couple little bitty old toys. It cost me $24 to send it down to Huntsville, Alabama.
Just regular mail?
No, the mail carrier had already closed. The mail carrier closes down at 12
UPS?
o'clock.
You sent it by
I
UPS?
sent it UPS.
Yeah,
I
okay.
shipped it. But still, that's highway robbery, ain't it? For 2.5 pounds?
That's bad. Everything's out of proportion in this country.
It is. It's way out of proportion, Uncle Bill.
Everything, and it's them Democrats screwed the whole thing up. They messed up. That's 4 years. They messed up.
Well,
something.
I know you want to point your finger to Democrats all the time, and I don't blame you for doing that. I don't, because but to be quite honest with you, they're not the same party as what it was back 50, 60 years ago, because at one time, Tennessee was a predominant Democrat state.
Yeah.
At one time. Was it not?
That was a long time ago.
That was before Al Gore.
Yeah.
That was before Al Gore, and I'm going to tell you what messed Tennessee up is that they didn't vote for Al Gore. Remember the hanging chads? And they put the Bushes in there. They put Bush Jr. in there, and from then on, son, it's been downhill.
Yeah, it's all the crooked voting started way back a long time
Lord,
ago.
yes. Lord, yes.
And now it got real bad worse.
Well, you know who decided that election, don't you? Between who won, either Al Gore or Bush. You know who decided that, right?
Yeah.
It was the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court up here in Washington, D.C. looked at it and said, well, we're going to vote this one here in. And if I'm not mistaken, Al Gore got the popularity vote, but he didn't win on the college votes. What do they call that?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I can't think of it right now.
And I don't go along with that neither.
But George Bush,
George Bush messed this freaking place up. But really and truly, it was his dad and the Reagans had done it during the Republican Party.
Electoral votes,
that's right. I don't go along with that. I think that's stupid. But they base it upon the city, they base it upon the state, and it's not right to give out more electrical votes, let's say, for Tennessee than they do Texas or California. I can understand California got 22 million people. Texas got something like 22 million people, and Tennessee ain't got but 7 million people, so Tennessee ain't gonna have as many electoral votes. I understand how they do it. Don't get me wrong. I understand how they do it, but I don't agree with it. I don't think it's fair. I think it ought to be across the board with the numbers game, and whatever number, if there are 22, if there are 200 million over here voted, and only 100 million over here, well, the guy that got 200 million votes, he should be the president.
Yeah, see, where they got it set up, if you go in California, New York, Ohio, another state or two, well, that's enough electoral votes there to put you in the presidency.
Yeah, you don't want the presidency. So where do you think those guys are going to spend their money at whenever they go to campaigning? They're going to spend their money in those states.
Yeah.
They're going to get on those TV ads, and they're going to get on those radio ads, and they're going to pump their message out to that state, while everybody else don't really know what they're doing. And the reason why is because they don't count. They don't count. They don't count.
Yeah.
And that ain't right.
Well,
It ought to be based off the numbers game. How many people voted this man in?
The popular votes.
The popular vote. And Al Gore won the popular vote, but he didn't win the electronic vote.
Well,
But on the other hand, if the state of Tennessee would have voted their own man in, Al Gore would have become our next president.
yeah.
And that's where the transition got mixed up, because if you put your thinking cap on, it was George Bush and Dick Cheney. No, not Dick Cheney. It was George Bush that come off the foothills of Ronald Reagan, that I don't think old man Bush would have ever got president if he wasn't vice president for Ronald Reagan. In other words, the Reagans helped put the Bushes in. Well, as soon as old man Bush Senior Bush become president, he goes to war in Desert Storm and Desert Shield. So what does Dennis do? What does your nephew do? What does your stupid nephew do? He gets in his vehicle and tries to go to Washington, D.C. and telling them they was going to war with the wrong people. And you know what happened to your nephew? They stopped him in Wheeling, West Virginia, kicked his door off of the hinges of a hotel, drugged me out by the ankles, arrested me. I was arrested in Wheeling, West Virginia in the city jail for, I know, over a week before I ever know what the charges was. And then all of a sudden I get the charges. You know what the charges was? They had labeled me as me being an assassin, that I was an assassin on my way to take out George Walter H. Bush's life.
Well.
And they said that I'd done it on a telephone call of 911 dispatcher. Mm-hmm. And whenever my attorney, Jolene Nugent, we had a arraignment, David, my younger brother, he went up there with my wife. I was married at the time, Shirley. There was no evidence at all that I had threatened anybody, much less the president. But yet, no, that federal judge, he said, well, it don't matter. He said, I'm going to order for a 45-day evaluation to be done over here. And he said, I'm going to order for another 45-day evaluation to be done over here. And neither one of them can be done they can't be done consecutively. They have to be done independently. So that meant that I was going to have to spend 45 days over here and another 45 days over here. Well, there's 90 days right there.
Yeah.
In addition to whenever they first arrest you, they hold you. Then they got to transport you. Then they got to take you to the facility that you get studied at, which was in Raleigh, Durham, is where they took me, or up around Raleigh, Durham. Durham, North Carolina is where they got studied, and that's where they took the first 6 months out of my life. That was my first federal study. The second federal study was going to downtown Chicago, where I could go up on top of the building and look at the Sears Tower that went up 45, 50 stories, and then the clouds covered it. You couldn't see the top of the Sears Tower, right across from where the federal building, down there where the stock exchange was. You know where the stock exchange is? Down there where the Riverside is, down there on the bottom end?
Yeah.
That's where they had me.
Well.
They put me in MCC to be studied like a laboratory rat.
Uh-huh.
That was my second study. That took the second 6 months out of my life. And the third study was up here in Cadiz, Kentucky, pertaining to land between the lakes.
Mm-hmm.
They started out on a federal side, but then they downsized it to a state charge, and then they took me to a state facility up in LaGrange, Kentucky, and that little study almost took a whole year out of my life. And that's whenever they poisoned me, Uncle Bill. That's whenever they put me on Risperdal. And Risperdal is a known drug that causes obesity and breast enhancement. And I went from 240 to 340 in less than 6 weeks' time. And then I finally got out all that stuff. I went back to Oklahoma. That didn't work out because they was holding my feet to the fire because I'd done already been basically a whistleblower towards exposing them, towards not telling the whole truth about the Oklahoma bombing. And once I realized that my life was over with, pertaining to working for the public, I went to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and signed for my disability.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? I got it.
Well,
I got it.
are you still on disability?
Still on disability, but that'll change 2 years from now, and I'll be drawing strictly on retirement then.
What do you mean? Disability will change from two years?
I'm soon to be 65. When you turn 65, all your medical stuff changes.
How old are you now?
I'm 64. I'll be 65 in March, but I'm still drawing a disability check. I won't start drawing a retirement check until 67.
That's
Once
Social Security.
Because of my age, it puts you in the category. That'll be Social Security, but won't nothing change according to them. But I can't believe them no more because I was told that in November, and I had to go back and redo all my insurance because it's going to still cost me like $200 extra a month for my medication this year.
Wow.
Because they said I went over the threshold. Well, what is the threshold? Well, the threshold is $1,763. Okay? Think about the threshold. The threshold was at 10 years ago. You would think if the threshold towards you not being able to get extra help, you would think that would go up the same way that your advancements would go up towards the price of living. But Tennessee don't do it that way.
Wow.
See, whenever you're getting Part B, it leads into Part C, and basically, TennCare is Medicare, and that's run by the state.
Yeah.
And if you're drawing a certain amount of money, that kicks you in the head towards getting any extra benefits.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? If you're drawing one penny over $1,763, you're not supposed to be getting any extra help, according to them. But yet, no, $1,563 was that way almost 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So how come they don't raise that whenever they're raising everybody else 3% here, 2.6 over here, 4% over here? You know how you get raises every year pertaining to the cost of living, right? Well, how come they don't raise that base rate?
Well, they give us a raise, supposed to give a 2-point-something raise, and it only amounts to about the time they get through taking out stuff out of your check. Mine amounted to $26 more a month than it was before. $26 now. That's not much.
That's not much.
See, they went up on their stuff on the.
Well, they went up on the insurance. I think my insurance went up $15 higher this year than what it was last year. A month. That's a month. I think it goes up now. Mine's $202. $202 a month, where it was paying $185 a month.
Yeah. They didn't raise your deductible up have the deductible.
Right.
Raise that. See?
Raise that up. Sure do. After that money, ain't they? They're trying to drain us, Uncle Bill. They're trying to drain us, and really and truly, they can say what they want to say about America not being a prejudice or a country that don't use stuff against people. But I can't guarantee you, once you get a certain age, you're no longer looked upon as being an asset. You're looked upon as being a liability.
All them people come into this country, they let them have all that stuff free.
Yes.
And here we were taxpaying people, and they wasn't giving us nothing.
I've worked all my life, and really and truly, whenever I fell off that building in 1979 down there in Milan.
How many stories did you fall?
I fell 4 stories. I fell 37 feet, basically a story is every 10 feet. fell 37 feet. I broke both legs, crushed both ankles. Really and truly, from that moment on, I should have been drawn disability. But you know what? Like a hardhead, I said, nope, I ain't going to do this. I'm better than this. And I gritted, and I put up with the pain, and I re-engineered myself towards learning a new occupation, and I started doing body work. And I've done body work for over 30 years, Uncle Bill.
Yeah.
But I started out building skyscrapers, hanging steel.
Yeah.
Because originally I was going to be a supervisor on a job, and now I'm pretty sure that's what my son Nicholas was going to do, because he had the same kind of knack towards running the show.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever he was down there in Memphis, he had 6 trucks under him. But he was working for a different outfit. He was working for Bungees and Bone in Denver, Colorado at the time.
Yeah.
There's money in construction. Don't think for a second there ain't. You know what they get for a yard of concrete now?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Like over $250 a yard. You know how many yards of concrete it takes to do this living room right here?
Well,
Probably about 20.
a 10-foot 2x4 is $10 now.
I know.
10-foot 2x4.
I know.
For a $2 2x4 is $10.
My God, you can't even eat in a restaurant no more without it costing you $20 or $25. And that's skimping. That ain't eating no big T-bone steak. That's just eating regular, drinking water. It's got to the point that the poor people don't have a snowball chance in hell. I hate to say that, but they really don't. And what are these kids going to do that's coming into the world that their parents is already suffering? What do you think them kids are going to do? They ain't got no future.
No.
They don't have no future.
It's all out of portion. Everything's out of portion.
I guarantee you right now in every state of the union, there's as much money flowing through the hands of the illegal activity pertaining to the black market, pertaining to the syndicate. There's as much money flowing through the hands of that the taxpayers don't never see any type of accountability for.
So
now, how do you straighten that out? You got drugs, you got prostitution, you got Mexicans working in hotels, you got them working in these labor places down with doing potatoes and picking beans and oranges and out in California in the great country. How do you straighten that out? Well, you got a major black market.
Well, we're taxed to death for one thing.
Because they're not taking the taxes out on the other people that's doing it that don't have to pay a penny for taxes.
You go to spend your money's taxed where you get it, then you got to pay tax to spend it. It's tax.
You got 2 different systems in America. You got a system where Uncle Sam registers you and he monitors every movement you make, and it don't matter if you're selling lawnmowers or if you're selling Humvees. You got to declare it at the end of the year and you got to pay your taxes.
Yeah.
But then you got another system out there where you can stop off at anybody's house and buy a lawnmower. You can buy a car for $2,000 as long as you got the cash. Uncle Sam don't ever get no money out of that. It ain't just drugs. It ain't just drug money that the cash flow's going in. It's all the other stuff. Yard sales, stop and getting buying a bicycle or a motorcycle or something.
That's like a car.
It's all dark money. It's all dark money. It's black money.
When a car is sold brand new, it's taxed. Then if it's sold again, that car is taxed again.
I know.
If it's sold the third time, as long as that car keeps selling, it's taxed. It's charged.
As long as it's in that system, as long as it's in that legal system, it'll get.
You're going to pay taxes.
You're going to pay taxes.
That ain't right.
No, it ain't right, and it ain't right towards homeowners having to be out all this money neither.
No.
Because some of these homeowners in like let's just use New York. New York, the average taxes in New York, the average taxes a year is around $8,500. Mm-hmm. And some people up there is paying as much as $30,000 $30,000 for taxes. If you live in one of them big old freaking nice freaking mansions, you gonna pay freaking taxes, buddy.
See, I got no say-so about taxes here. If they want to raise my taxes on this property, they just up it. I got no say about it.
That's right.
It belongs to me, but yet they don't tax it.
Yes, sir.
And they keep on taxing it.
You know how you could have gotten away with that?
How's that?
Kept the wheels on these trailers.
So what?
Kept the axles and the wheels on these trailers and not tie it down and told them it was a portable unit. Because whenever you living in an RV, whenever you buy an RV, it only gets taxed once. It only gets taxed once. As long as you own it, they can't tax you for property tax on an RV because it's got axles on it. It's considered a mobile unit. Same way, if you wanted to live down here in a boat, a big nice sailboat, a big nice boat of some sort, there ain't no taxes on a boat. You only pay taxes one time. They don't tax you year after year after year.
Yeah.
That's the reason why so many people live in houseboats. They're getting away from paying them taxes every year. You probably average what, about $850, $1,200 a year right here?
No, I don't. I'm in a different category.
Because of you being retired,
Yeah.
you pay what, $500, $400,
No, I don't pay that much.
$200?
My taxes went down from $300 to $200 and so this year.
Okay. Because of your payroll and your retirement and everything. Well, that's fair.
Yeah.
But they still taxing you.
They're still taxing. I'll have to pay taxes till I die, as long as I live here.
And you were supposed to have bought this property, right? You supposed to have bought the ground that it belongs
Belongs
to.
to me.
Yeah.
But they control it.
In other words, you're supposed to be able to dig a hole all the way down to the center of the earth, and it'd still be yours.
Yeah. It's mine. But they control the taxes on it, what you pay.
But you got to understand this also. I understand the reason why they got taxes. Somebody's got to push your paperwork around. Somebody's got to monitor it. Somebody's got to govern it. Somebody's got to put out the order. Somebody's got to stand behind the desk and do that type of work. If they didn't, we never would get nothing done. You never would get no potholes fixed in your freaking yard, in your driveway or whatever, in your front yard. We got to have taxes. You know that.
Yeah.
That's what makes it operate.
We're overtaxed, though.
We're overtaxed, number one, and number two, you got such of an illegal market out there of the cash flow that's working under the table, that dark money I'm talking about, that they don't ever get no taxes off of that money. It don't matter if it's drug money, it don't matter if it's prostitution, it don't matter if it's Mexicans working in a hotel. You know, at one time they was going to go in and they was going to raid the state of Texas. This was about 10 years ago. You know what the governor of Texas said? If you come in here and do that to us, it will destabilize our economy. Mm-hmm. Well, we're seeing the exact same thing happening right now up there in Minnesota, Minneapolis, Minnesota. That has destabilized that whole town, that whole city up there. And before it's all said and done with, you know who it's going to call? You know who's going to pay for it? You and me's going to pay for it. You know why? Because those county and state officials are going to sue the hell out of the federal government, and they're going to ask for reimbursement, and I'm pretty sure it will be up probably hundreds of millions. Hell, it may be $1 billion before it's all said and done with.
Well, I tell you what.
Now, what Donald Trump is doing, listen to me, what Donald Trump is doing, I agree with towards going in and getting the illegals out. I agree with that. They need to go. They never should have been here to begin with. But you don't need to create more problem by going after these people, because now you're creating a bigger problem. You actually are destabilizing their economy in that area.
Well, what he's doing, he's trying to get them out of here because the tax people
are paying for it. That's just it. We're caught in the middle. If we don't pay for it on the front end, we're going to pay for it on the back end. Who do you think's paying to put all them people on them airplanes and send them out of the county, like send them out of the country? We are.
Yeah.
We're paying for that stuff.
Yeah, we'll pay for it. I tell you what, the days are getting longer. Have you noticed the days getting longer?
Yeah, but they're awful cold right now, ain't they?
Here it is, 5:30 and still got daylight out there.
And it's past your eating time. I done
intervened
here on your munchy time.
I'm starving, my stomach.
Man, oh man, I'm sorry, Uncle Bill.
You sound like you tore up of it.
Oh, you know I am. You don't look like you've been missing too many meals. You're looking all right. How much you weigh?
How much I weigh? Don't really know. I don't ever weigh.
You go get weighed every time you go into a doctor's office. Don't tell me you ain't never weighed.
They weigh, but they don't tell me what I weigh.
Why don't you ask them?
I don't ask them. I don't care. I may weigh 150 pounds. I don't know.
You weigh more than that. You're taller than that.
No.
You weigh every bit of 160.
No, I don't either. I won't weigh 160.
You won't weigh 160?
No. I got up to 196 pounds at one time.
Did you really?
Yeah.
When was that? Whenever you was working out there
When I
at
was
your
working,
business?
I got up to 196 pounds.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
Betty May, she put on some weight after she had Jason, didn't she?
Yeah.
She got hefty, didn't she? She was on up there pretty good,
Who's
too.
that?
Your wife.
Yeah. Tell you what, the whole time we was married, I bet she lost 1,000 pounds because she went on diet after diet after diet.
She was. I know it.
She had problems with her weight.
I know it.
And I bet she lost 1,000 pounds while we was married.
But how heavy, what was her heaviest weight, do you know?
Oh, I don't really know.
Was it over 200?
No, I don't think she ever got 200.
It was awful close, though.
And she got probably around 185, 90, somewhere around there.
How about Reba? I figured Reba probably put on some weight whenever she
Ray
got...
was put on weight. Ray was under a lot of pressure. She's
Oh, I couldn't imagine running a show with 40 employees.
Yeah.
Oh, God. All the paperwork, all the...
government work and all that
Oh,
stuff.
Lord.
She's
What are you
under a
talking
lot
about?
of pressure.
What are you talking about? She's responsible for everything. She's responsible for the employees. She's responsible if the employees does something that they're not supposed to do. Whenever they go into somebody's house working on it, she's responsible for the taxes. She's responsible to make sure the insurance is paid. She's responsible for her own taxes. She's responsible for everything. I don't see how they do it. I don't see how they do it.
She one thing about it, she's good with numbers.
Is she?
She's real good with numbers.
Did she ever work at a bank?
Yeah.
She did.
She worked.
So she was an accountant then. She was an accountant, basically.
She worked a dispatcher for a while. Then she worked at Farmers Merchant Bank.
But Randy's done good, hasn't he? I mean, looking at it overall, I mean, he's done good. But it has put a lot of pressure on her.
Yeah.
She probably don't get a whole lot of decent sleep
No.
worrying about stuff.
Well, like I said, she's got a lot of pressure on her.
But she's in a good town right there in Trenton, because I guarantee you, if they move on down the road, probably another 7-8 miles, and they got over into Madison County, you're looking at a whole different plot of stuff. All taxes would probably almost double. Everything else, they're in a good area right there in Gibson County. They're in a good area.
She says the money is towards Jackson.
Oh, it is.
Yeah. The money from going north is not there no more.
It ain't.
So, well,
Whenever
Dyer dried up, Rutherford dried up, Kennan dried up.
Think about this, Uncle Bill. Whenever they kept striking up there at Goodyear, and they shut Goodyear down, that was Goodyear's, that was Union City's golden nugget. That was their cash cow.
They shut that down, see?
That was their cash cow.
And then that trucking company there, it went out of business. What was the name of it? Big trucking company there. For years, we done the work on the trucks. Oh, what was the name of that place
Man,
there?
there's been so many businesses come and go.
Can't think of the name.
What town was it in?
Huh?
What town was it in? Union City?
Union City, yeah. The big trucking company. We done. Dyer Motor Company sold them the trucks, and we fixed the trucks with cabs on, frames on them,
Yeah,
and everything.
I remember all that. You know that meat house over there on that corner? It has costed the city over $2 million to clean up the mess
Wow.
that they left.
Hmm.
Because everything is basically...
Real Foot Packing Company.
Real Foot Packing Company. Whenever they shut that Real Foot Packing Company down, that hurt them too.
Yeah.
But Real Foot was right. I mean, Goodyear was right there, and Goodyear, man, probably a third of the nice homes in Union City was paid by Goodyear, employees by Goodyear.
And then Brown Shoe Company, see, they was in Trenton and Dyer. They shut down.
Yep. You know what happened, don't you? That computer. All of a sudden, even though Sam Walton stood on national TV with George Walter H. Bush and said, America first, we will always sell America, we will always sell to America, and we will always buy from America. Well, as soon as the old man died, what did they do?
It's about China.
They got on that computer.
They
got on that computer, and they got to looking, hey, we can buy the same Hanes underwear over here for 20 cents a pair versus it's going to cost us $2 a pair in America. So they figured it out. Even by paying the shipping, it's cheaper to buy at a sweatshop, somebody working, young girls 12, 13, 14 years old illegally, building Hanes underwear, it's cheaper for Walmart to buy it from them than it is to buy it from their own people. We got stabbed in the back. But not only did Walmart stab us in the back, but all the other retailers followed them. They started doing the same thing, getting on that computer, starting, hey, we can get this hammer over here for this amount of money. We can get this saw from over here. We can get this TV for this amount of money. And what did they do to the labor force? It killed it. We have lost over 90,000 factories in 30 years.
Yeah, lost a lot of stuff.
90,000 factories gone. No wonder the kids don't have a future. No wonder they turn to drugs and getting out here malicious behavior. These conglomerates, these wealthy people is what has ruined us.
Gosh, it's getting colder. It's 22 degrees over there now.
You hear what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
We got stabbed in the back.
Yeah, well, that's American way.
Man, we were blowing, we were huffing and puffing back in the 50s, 60s,
Rip that
70s,
old
80s.
guy off there, charge him, rip him off, you know. That's American
But man,
way.
we was the smokestack industry days. We was the one that created the microwave. We was the one that created the TV. We was the one that created all these conveniences that we call conveniences. That now they're doing the same thing in all these other countries, and they're beating us.
Yeah.
They're beating us in their labor. You know what happened? America got the cart in front of the horse. We was doing okay if we was only bidding with like Europe and maybe China or maybe 2 or 3 other ones. We was doing good. We was still huffing and puffing. We was #1, right? But whenever that computer opened up and now all of a sudden everybody had the same opportunity and everybody started competing, we lost our better edge. Next thing you know, they started stabbing us in the back, and they started getting all their produce or all their stuff in another country and having it shipped over here. And Uncle Bill, that ain't right neither. That's an act of treason.
Yeah.
And you know what? You know who's going to have to pay for that? Your granddaughter, your grandson, my granddaughter. Our kids is going to have to inherit this crap.
Man, it's getting dark quick now. I've been watching it fade
Well, I'm
away.
going to get out of here. I know you're hungry.
You better back out.
You're starving to death.
You better back out. You
I
don't
didn't
have
pull
to
in
go-
your driveway.
Huh?
I didn't pull in your driveway.
Where you out in the street?
No. Somebody hit you, knock you in, and it'd be your fault. Oh, I parked over here at your buddy's house over here, Mr. Hobbs.
Tracked over on the other side over there?
No, right here beside you. Teddy.
You pulled up in over there?
Yeah, Teddy's. Ain't his name Teddy?
Who?
Teddy? Ain't his name Teddy Hobbs?
J. Ray?
J. Ray. I parked in J. Ray's
Yeah.
driveway. I backed in there.
You backed in J. Ray's. Well,
Backed in his driveway where the little
don't
gates
you
are.
slip down trying to get over that little bank out there. Get in there by that tree and hold on that tree. Getting up over there.
Oh, I know, it's slick. I know. And I've already done failed 2 or 3 times, busted my ass. I don't care. Usually I can catch myself. Usually my arm will catch it.
Yeah.
My bones, I take enough calcium and stuff, my bones are still okay. I learned that, once you get a certain age, if you don't take minerals and if you don't take vitamins, you sure enough go to hurting yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because your body no longer produces that type of mineral.
You just be careful getting out of here.
I will. I gotta get my glass, gotta get my phone. And anyways, I think to answer the question, why is your uncle still living at 93?
I'm
What?
92. I ain't 93, I'm 92. You're getting me older than what I am.
Well, maybe so. I think you've been 92 for the past 5 years. Seems like every time I come here, you're 92.
June the 12th is my birthday. I'll be 93.
What
June
year was
the
you
12th.
born?
Huh?
What year was you born?
33. 1933.
And Dad was born in 1926. So my dad was 7 years older than you. Bobby
Yeah.
was 7 years older than you.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think the reason why that you're still living, now this is just me talking, I got my own opinion. I think God wanted to show you in this life that your nephew wasn't as damn crazy as what everybody projected him to be, because I'm still here
Yeah.
and I still got the same message.
How old are you?
I'm 64, but my message hasn't changed. My testimony will not change. And rather not people support me, rather not people believe me, rather not people want to believe me, that's going to be up to them.
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, there's a lot of people your age that probably wish that they did support me.
Yeah, get your phone there.
I will. It's good seeing you again, man.
You better go for it. You can't see what you're walking over that time. That's ice. You'll slip
Oh,
down.
I know. It'll kill you. It'll kill you. What is this? What is
That's
that?
a cord that plugs into my computer there.
Oh,